ध्यायेत् शारदचन्द्रसुन्दरमुखम् ताम्रारविन्देक्षणम् भक्ताभीष्टवराभयप्रदकरम् कौपीनमात्रोज्ज्वलम् स्वात्मानन्दरसानुभूतिविवशम् सर्वानवद्याङ्गकम् श्रीमन्तं श्रीरमणीश्वरं गुरुवरं योगासनाध्यासितं ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणीश्वरं ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणीश्वरम् ध्यायेत् श्रीरमणीश्वरम् हृदयकुहरमध्ये केवलं ब्रह्ममात्रम् यहमहमिति साक्षात् आत्मरूपेण भाति हृदि विषमनसा स्वं चिन्वतामज्जतव पवनचलनरोधात् आत्मनिष्ठो भवत्वम्. Namo Ramana. In this Wednesday session from Ramanacentre for Learning, we have been reading Sudesham and meditating on it. We have been reading it from the book Years in the Presence of Ramana, my Master, reminiscences by Mahakrishna Swami of his stay at Ramanashramam, which has been originally edited by our founder, President Sri A.R. Natarajanji. We are in the third chapter, I guess. No, sorry, second chapter, titled The Art of Dissipating the Illusion. In this chapter, Mahakrishna Swami has beautifully compiled the questions and answers pertaining to how Bhagavan would dissipate the illusion. And in the first chapter, we saw that the truth is very natural. In the second chapter, we are seeing such a natural truth, even though it is so naturally available, the only reason we are not privy to it is because we are caught up in the illusion, and therefore the art of dissipating the illusion is all that we need to do. And how Bhagavan would do it has been beautifully captured in this question answers. After meditating on this week's question and answer, we will have a 20 minutes practical session of self-enquiry. Following that, our President Sarada would be talking about Ramana Gita, especially chapter 18, which about how again it's a question and answers put to Bhagavan by various devotees, and it has been captured in Sanskrit verses by Ganapati Muni. And then finally we will have the concluding prayers to Bhagavan. Last week, the question was, why is a man unconscious of the supreme truth? And Bhagavan had told that because we give a lot of importance to the body and mind, and we forget about the supreme truth. So we'll go on to look at the next set of questions. Actually, the question was, why does man feel separate from the supreme truth? And Bhagavan goes on to say, because we give a lot of importance to the physical body and the mind, therefore we feel a sense of separation from the truth. So this week, Bhagavan, the question is, so who are we? Why do we suffer? Is the question. And Bhagavan's answer is, meditate and devote sincerely, and you will be free from all these doubts. Then the questioner asks, will a spiritual path do me good? Bhagavan says, the supreme objective is the consciousness of the absolute truth. Then the questioner says, what is the method to attain it? Follow the path back until the origin, says Bhagavan. The questioner says, do you mean go back to my divine origin? Bhagavan said, exactly. That is what you must be conscious of. So, in this question, who are we and why do we suffer? Bhagavan says, instead of answering the doubter's question, he asks us to doubt the doubts, and that can happen only by going back to the root through meditation or through devotion. And then he sets the objective very clear. The objective is to go back to the root and become conscious of the absolute truth. And once we follow that path of going back to the origin, so we will understand the divine origin. We become conscious of the divine origin. That is what Bhagavan is trying to answer in this 4 beautiful questions and answers put to us. So often when we put this question, who am I or why do we suffer, we expect some practical or some intellectual answer to be provided to us. The intellectual answer could potentially become a new identity for us, that I now know the answer. It is like, I know taking a dip in the clean water cleanse my body. But just knowing that is not going to help, isn't it? It is important for us to put that into practice. And putting it into practice, many a times when the answer is known, we become satisfied having an answer, a remedy. And Akka, during the workshop, was saying that we may have a problem, a physical ailment, which I may be suffering. Many a times I may not know what that particular problem is. I go to a doctor and he just gives me a name that this problem is because of such and such a disease. Lot of time I become content that I know why I have got this problem, though that may not remove the problem at all. So here also we see Bhagavan not trying to say that you are Satchidananda, or once you go back to your nature of being Satchidananda, all the suffering goes away. He is answering us to meditate or devote our time, which is basically self-enquiry and surrender, to know where from all these doubts rise. That will make us become free of the doubts. That means in the case of meditation, we can inquire, to whom is this doubt? Who am I? In the case of devotion, we can say, offer the doubt back to the Supreme Lord, our Guru, whoever we may think so, and continue to do that, surrender. And Bhagavan is saying, if we keep on practicing this sincerely, which is very important, That means with full faith that this process of meditation and this process of devotion will take us back to the truth. If we have full faith in it, and if we keep on practicing it, Bhagavan says that we'll get back to our natural divinity. So the question is, will a spiritual path good? And the answer from Bhagavan is, all spiritual paths' absolute objective is to take us consciously to that absolute truth. So the absolute truth is ever present. It is, if you go back to the regular Vedantic approach, when I am seeing the snake, the rope is very much there. All I have to do is remove the wrong idea of the snake. The rope which is there would be there. So for that I have to bring the right light. And the right light in this case is the sadhana of meditation or self-enquiry. If I keep on using that light, and Nandakumarji in this workshop was very beautifully saying that initially that light may be, because we are ignorant, the light may be at zero or very dim. But every time we keep on inquiring, to whom is this, who am I? The conscious attention to every thought and seeing those thoughts are coming and going and recognizing that there is a transcendental truth of oneself being the pure light of consciousness. That degree of light starts to increase. And every time we further inquire with that higher degree of light, more clarity will further come with respect to the usefulness of the thought, with respect to how useful is the enquiry or the meditation or the surrender itself. More clarity will rise with the degree of the light of consciousness increasing. So if we keep on doing it, that's why Bhagavan says, sincerely keep on practicing this. The more and more we get the clarity, the more and more we understand the constructs of this illusion. How this whole illusion becomes a construct. Like, just to say, let's imagine that if you take the example of the deep sleep and the wake and the dream. In the dream, everything is constructed by me. So we can say it is something that I have completely imagined the whole dream thing. Now, in the deep sleep, that imagination is not there. And Bhagavan is going on saying, and all the truth says that even now, that whole imagination is being created. But the way I look at it, I still look myself to be this name and form and imagining it. But that name and form was not there in the deep sleep. And that name and form was not there in the dream. So that erroneous thinking that I am still this name and form and then imagining has to be questioned. That clarity will come. That then you will start to say, oh, I am perhaps something beyond the name and form of the waking, beyond the name and form of the dream, beyond that darkness, and from that depth I am imagining myself to be awake. From that depth I am imagining myself to be dreaming, and from that depth I am again dreaming of being sleeping. So in the sense, when I move the goalpost, when I question from where I am imagining itself, rather than just get carried away that, okay, this is an imagination, by the idea that this is an imagination. But if I question who am I at that level, perhaps I can start to see that everything is being imagined. And this imagination itself is never giving me any permanent happiness. So that clarity may give us more light about why we should go on, keep on imagining things. So Bhagavan is saying again here that if we meditate sincerely, then the consciousness will start to reveal the objective, absolute truth. And then the questioner says, will that absolute truth take us to the divine origin? Bhagavan says, exactly. That is what you must be conscious of. That means, even though that question will somewhere, because we are consciously looking at everything just being thoughts, this doubt also may arise. It may not arise many a times, but if we keep on questioning consciously, the constructs of the imagination become more and more clear. We start to see every part of everything being imagined by us. So that clarity will rise, and that will also bring more clarity about our divine origin. So with Bhagwan's immense grace, with which alone we have come to this most direct path, for the next 20 minutes, let us practice Atma Vichara. No matter how many thoughts come, no matter whatever is the nature of those thoughts, we keep on inquiring to whom is this. And that brings us to the one single most answer, to me. And further inquiring, who am I? By trying to see the source of the thought, or the source of the I, or what do I refer to as I. The attention which was outward turned towards the thought is turned back to the source of the thought, or the source of the I. And the grace of the Master takes us back to that divine origin. Though initially we may not be familiar with it, but with more repeated practice, when the degree of that conscious light on the practice increases, it becomes more and more clearer, says Bhagavan. With his immense grace, let us practice Atma Vichara for the next 20 minutes. Namo Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramana. Namo Ramana. Over to Sarada. Namo Ramana.
With the immense grace of the self manifest as Ramana, we in this part of the satsang are meditating on verses of Ramana Gita, which is a compilation in 18 chapters by Ganapati Muni of questions and answers, questions to Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi, the various seekers of truth, and his answers to them. We are now meditating on chapter 18, which is called Siddha Mahimanu Kirtanam. It is on the glory of the great ones, the Jnanis and the Siddhas. And the questioner in this chapter is Yoganatha, Amritanatha Yati. And Amritanatha has asked only one question, and there is one answer by Bhagavan. But the chapter has 26 verses, where the earlier verses are all praises of Bhagavan Sri Ramana Maharshi by Ganapati Muni, especially probably because this is the concluding chapter, and also because it is about the Mahima of the Siddhas. So Muni is giving the Mahima of Bhagavan in advance as an introduction or the prologue for this chapter. We are now meditating on verse 15. It says, Bandaru Loka Varadam. Bandaru Loka Varadam Naradanti Nopi Mantreshwarasya Guruto. Mantreshwarasya Guruto Mahatam Gurutam Vahantam. Mahato Gurutam Vahantam. Bandaru Loka Varadam Naradanti Nopi Mantreshwarasya Mahato Gurutam Vahantam. Mandara Vrikshamiva Sarvajanasya Pada Chayam Shrutasya Paritapamaha Paritapam Apaharantam. Bandaru Loka Varadam Naradanti Nopi Mantreshwarasya Mahato Gurutam Vahantam. Bandaru Loka Varadam. He is the boon giver to the world of devotees. Bandaru, those who are doing bandana, those who do prostrations to him, those who are his Varadam. He gives he satisfies their boon. Mantreshwarasya Mahato Gurutam. Naradanti Nopi Mantreshwarasya Mahato Gurutam Vahantam. Naradanti Nopi, the one who is the human incarnation of Ganapati. Naradanti Nopi, he is the Guru. Even to who? Mantreshwarasya Mahato. This incarnation of Ganapati, Muni is referring to himself, is Mantreshwarasya. Mantreshwarasya. He is the Ishvara of mantras. He is the master of mantras. And who is Ramana? Ramana is Guru to such a master of mantras. In Ramanacentre, Muni says about Bhagavan Ramana, he says, Omkarartam Upadisho Bhagavate Vani Manoharine. You are one who gave the import of Omkara to Lord Brahma himself. Omkarartam Upadisho Bhagavate Vani Manoharine Tataya Pyupadesh Mudyatamabut Kinchitva Shiva. Jeshtasyadya sahodarasya gurutam prapnoti dhi gauravat. And to your elder brother, you have become the guru over here in this world. Subramanya kanishtatam apikata sarvadhikastvam gunaihi. He says, though you are young in years, you in your qualities, you are sarvadhika, you are above all, he says. So here he says, Mantreshwarasya Mahato Gurutam Vahantam. He has become the great guru of Ganapati or Ganapati Muni. We know that Ganapati Muni had mastered all the mantras and he had done crores of japa before coming and surrendering to Bhagavan as his guru. So here what the Muni is indicating to us is the glory of the Sadguru. Though Muni was initiated into the mantras of the path of Sri Vidya, but the Sadguru, the importance of the Sadguru was recognized by Muni. And that is why he went and surrendered to Bhagavan. And he knew that this is his Sadguru, and he wrote to all his disciples. He was himself a guru at that time. He had himself initiated so many into several mantras. And as a practitioner of mantras, he was unparalleled because he, as I said, had performed crores of Shiva Panchakshari and other chapas as well. But the Sadguru is the one who can initiate one into Atma Jnana. The one who is ever abiding in the self, which is the Siddha Mahima, which is the Siddha, which is the Jivan Mukta. That glory is brought home to us by this verse of Muni. And he has said in the first line, he is the giver of boons. And later he says, Mandara Vrikshamiva. Why does he give all the boons to those? Sarva Janasya feet, he destroys all their sorrows. He's a Kalpataru, he gives all boons. But what is the boon that one must seek from him in that case? That becomes our responsibility. So, Sadhuvam Swami says that it is best not to seek boons at all. And Sadhuvam Swami also refers to Bhagavan as the Kalpataru. He says, Yamadasai Voriyum Karpagamana Taruve. He is that celestial tree which destroys our desires. So what does Ramana do? Sometimes he fulfills our desires, sometimes he does not fulfill our desire, but he makes us understand that both are for our highest good. And finally says Sadhuvam Swami, he destroys all desires. He gives in us, he plants in us a desire for desirelessness. He gives us this desire and then the world, he will fulfill them. But ultimately, he will give to us by his grace in order to destroy all our sorrows. How can sorrow be destroyed as long as desire is there? When desire is there, then fear and sorrow are bound to be there. They are other sides of the same coin. So we cannot have a state of joy, of sustained joy, even if there is a single desire lurking in the mind. Even if there is a single desire. That is why sometimes Bhagavan says, even the desire for self-realization is not required. It does not mean that that is not a good desire, because that desire can burn away all the other desires. However, ultimately, even that desire has to be dropped. Everything has to be dropped by self-enquiry, by cutting it away through self-enquiry or through surrender to Bhagavan. When one has surrendered to Bhagavan, Swami says, என்ன வேண்டும் என்ன வேண்டாம் என்பதை எல்லாம் என்னை விட நன்கறிந்தோன் என் பெருமானே. Ramana knows better than me what I want and what I don't want. So I may not even know what I really want. Sometimes we can see that small children, they may be hungry, but they will refuse to eat. They may be sleepy, but they will refuse to sleep because they are so excited by what is happening in the surrounding. So the mother has to force them to eat or force them to sleep in some way or the other. But we, as we are little grown up, though we may be children always to Bhagavan, though I think we are grown up, so we must understand that it is better to leave everything to the Master, to the all-knowing and benevolent Master. So when He is taking care of every need of ours with so much love and care, will He not take care of the ultimate good as well? So what is there for us? Swami indicates that Bhagavan will gradually, by fulfilling our desires, He will make us understand that we are very well protected. Even in the chapter on Bhakti, in Ramana Gita, Bhagavan says, initially the desires are there, and when the desires get fulfilled, then one gets faith in the Sadguru. Oh, he takes care of me, he loves me, therefore I need not worry about anything. Gradually, that faith grows, and after that, the desires are no longer important, they are not so significant anymore. Gradually, they begin to fade away, and gradually, the faith grows more and more. It becomes so immense that then desire will cease altogether, and there will be complete surrender to Bhagavan. Then all our sorrows will be erased. So this is the purpose of this Kalpataru. This is the purpose of Ramana, says Muni in this verse. For us to put our faith in him. And to put our faith in him means faith in the path which he is giving us, in the path of self-enquiry and surrender. Surrender initially, as Dileep was telling us also recently in one of his talks, it is partial, but no, Master says does not matter. Self-enquiry is also intellectual to begin with, but Dileep also told, doesn't matter. Even if you are just repeating who am I as a mantra also doesn't matter. If you're just lipping those words, who am I, doesn't matter. If you're intellectually asking yourself, who am I, doesn't matter. But gradually, the very power of that question will bring us to the real questioning. And then we understand that surrender is to the self, the ego offering itself to the self. But Bhagavan says it does not easily offer itself. It will take It cannot erase itself. So he gives us the method of asking, who am I? And who am I also we have to do with the spirit of surrender. In who am I also we have a desire. We have the desire to find out what our true nature is. And then we can also be sure, says Muni, that Bhagavan will fulfill that desire. Or if I ask myself, who am I? Who am I? With the intensity of the seeking, then this Kalpataru Bhagavan, this Kalpataru Ramana will fulfill that desire, and all our sorrows will be automatically erased. So there are two clues which Muni is giving us over here. He says, first he says, such is the glory of this master that he is the guru even of one who has performed the highest penance. But he is not guru only to such a one. He is the boon giver to all those who seek his feet. Sarvajanasya pada chayam shrutasya paritapam apahantam. He is the destroyer of the sorrows of all those who seek the shade of his feet. Pada chayam shrutasya, the shade of his feet. And Muni is indicating here that there is sorrow in the world. There is sorrow in the pursuit of desire. And it is like being in heat. This sorrow is like being burnt. But if we turn the celestial boon-giving tree and coming into that shade, when we follow the path given by that master, then we ask ourselves, who am I? When we seek the highest boon from him, that also he is bound to give. Now, for Arunachala also, Guhai Namashivaya sings, Yeded Ketalum Kodaippadamal Kodukkumale. This hill, you may ask of it anything. The hill is not worried to give you that boon. The hill does not feel scared to give you that boon. Whatever boon you may ask. So it is the great boon giver, Arunachala, is the great boon giver, Arunachala Ramana. And here, Muni is once again assuring us of this. He is giving the example of his own life, where he was burnt by the misery of not achieving the highest truth, and he came and surrendered to Bhagavan and bathed his feet with his tears and took refuge. Immediately he got the answer. Bhagavan was not speaking in those days, but when the Muni surrendered in this way and sought his Upadesha, Bhagavan gave him the Upadesha, and not only gave him those words of Upadesha, but immediately gave him the experience as well. So based on his own experience, the Muni is saying, Muni in a way is indicating, I'm not simply praising Bhagavan, I'm telling you this based on my own Anubhava, and you can also come and experience this. Muruganar Swami also says, Arunai Tannil Amudam Vandutrade. Tarunamam idu Satrinan Yanumakku. This is the moment I'm telling you at Arunachala, nectar, immortality is seated there. Tarunamam idu. This is the moment. Aranamaha Bandu Uyir Valvine. Satrinan now Namaka, I am telling you, I am proclaiming to you this truth. This is the moment. Come now. Don't tarry. Don't delay. Come now and take refuge at Ramana. Come now. Turn the mind within to its source. This is the moment. Turn the mind to its source through self-enquiry and find the Arunachala Ramana and live truly. Uyirvar meaning, says Murugana, that is true life, that is immortality. Om Namo Bhagavate Shri.
Namo Ramana. Apara Satchit Sukavarirashe Yasyormimatram Bhuvanam Samastam Guhahitam Tam Ramanam Gabiram Chintavihinam Hruvi Chintayami Chintavihinam Hruvi Chintayami. Namo Ramana. Namo
Namo
Ramana.
Ramana Dileep.